And it was a crazy idea for two kids sitting in Bombay. They basically said, we'll give you 40 lakhs for free and like no questions asked, just take 40 lakhs if you're building something interesting. And we were like, wow, that's amazing. Like we were just like, that's crazy.
We just walk into as many of these Kirana stores and try to convince them to join as a seller. Out of 10 of them, 8 will tell you to like, I don't know if to basically. And,
ask for forgiveness.
And 2 of them will say, okay, fine, I'll download your app. And by the time you walk out, one of those 2 is deleted.
I think as kids, both of us had dads who were engineers, sort of pushed into that world pretty early on. And that's how we bonded as well. KB's always a lot more technical and smarter than I was. So he built out the actual interesting stuff. I just did the talking. But we used to work on things together. By the time 2 of us were 17, we said, okay, like how do we make a career out of this hobby? Like how do we build for a living? I mean, basically towards the end of school, we said, how do we build a career out of building? And we figured that, from the Y Combinator YouTube videos and like the sessions that we used to see online, we realized that there's this community of people in Silicon Valley that basically build for a living, right? And we said, what's the best excuse to get there? What's the best excuse for 2 Indian kids in Dubai to get there? Probably go to college there. And so 2 of us applied, figured Stanford would be a good excuse to go there. Lucky enough to get in. That was supposed to be the beginning of the journey.
So we were supposed to start in September of 2020.
Right. And did you go to college?
No.
We effectively did. I mean, we were supposed to go. So March 2020, pandemic hits. 2 of us were supposed to go, couldn't go. And we said, okay, we can start our college education online. But we had like 4 precious years in like Silicon Valley. So we said, if we're going to waste a year sitting on our laptops in Dubai or Mumbai, it's not really worth it. And so we decided to take a year off. And that's when we started experimenting.
What was the first experiment?
So we came to Bombay, firstly, like when the pandemic hit. March, April 2020, lockdown, your local kirana, like your local mom and pop shop was disrupted. The online guys were taking 7-8 days to deliver. And it was a pain. And most of our neighbors were elderly. And so we were on a WhatsApp group chat and we used to deliver for them because we had nothing else to do.
And you would charge a fee for this?
Initially we did. That WhatsApp group grew. Eventually you start hitting that limit.
256.
Yeah, 256 KB members. But
each person could see what the neighbor was ordering?
Yeah, it was not very...
So it's just maybe 100, 200 houses there. So it's just the people within that. And like 2 or 3 sort of stores nearby that we would pick up and drop stuff off.
And so that was that. And when it got to a certain point, we said, let's build an app out of it so we can scale this. And so we built out the first edition. It was called Kirana Cart. And it was basically a pick up and drop service. And that's how we ended up building it out and started scaling over the course of like a couple of months. And that's pretty much all we would do. We were like the customer support executives. We were the delivery partner, the delivery drivers. We were the guys that, packed the orders for the store. And we used to do that for like 60-70% of the time. We got some crazy stories. We applied to this thing and we actually met Will, who was the first investor in the company. We applied to this thing called a Contrary Capital. It was a fellowship. And it was a crazy idea for 2 kids sitting in Bombay. They basically said, we'll give you 40 lakhs for free and like no questions asked, just take 40 lakhs if you're building something interesting.
We would just go to a different neighborhood in Bombay. Like one day it'd be Parel or Powai or Borivali or Kulaba. And we just walk into as many of these Kirana stores and try to convince them to join as a seller. Trying to sell software to like a Bania is probably the best crash course in sales that anyone can get.
Unbelievable.
Because out of 10 of them, 8 will tell you to like, I don't know if basically. 2 of them will say, okay, fine, I'll download your app. And by the time you walk out, one of those 2 is deleted.
They're deleted, yeah.
Right. And they would give us feedback though on like what they need to improve.
In 2020, how much did you sell?
We hadn't launched the customer side yet.
Yeah, we launched it in Jan.
Like the
21.
Like with the app basically.
Okay, yeah. 2021, how much did you sell?
So within 30 days of launching, 30 to 40 days, we got to about 300 orders a day.
Okay, so 2021 end, 2022 financial year, how much did...
FY21, nothing, like probably a couple lakhs.
22?
And from July 21 to today, like about 24 months, went from about 0 to like today north of 5,000 crores in sales. So crazy, that was crazy.